Conservatives look to make more gains in 2022 as the midterm elections near. Most, if not all, are dependent upon former President Trump's wave of new conservatism, and they don't fear the backlash. But that does not stop their message that President Biden has not lived up to his promises. We talked to Vlad Daviduik, conservative public policy and government political analyst.
Right now, you have the governor's race going on. What's your take on these people that are vying for the position of the governorship in the state of Texas?
Well, clearly, Governor Abbott is running for what would be his second term now?
Third term.
Third term?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. He beat Wendy Davis the first go around. Look, Greg Abbott came into office and riding a wave of optimism and hope following the retirement of as governor by Governor Rick Perry. And he defeated Wendy Davis in his first race by more than 20 points. It was very clear that the American people preferred what Governor Abbott was offering, what Greg Abbott was offering, as opposed to what Wendy Davis had to offer. Same thing when he ran for re-election in 2018. The American people wanted what Greg Abbott had to offer rather than what Lupe Valdez had to offer. Governor Abbott, like every single elected leader in Texas, has to stand before the voters and has to explain to them what it is that he plans to do, how he plans to accomplish it, and he has to give an accounting of the work that he has done that they counted on him to do. It's not surprising at all that Governor Abbott would face some primary challenges along with a Democrat challenger. But it's the nature of politics in Texas that people have high expectations. The citizens of Texas expect a lot from their political leadership, and they expect to hold those leaders accountable. So you have quite a few challengers on the Republican side. You have Beto O'Rourke on the Democrat side. And so Governor Abbott has a lot of questions he has to answer. He has quite a few challenges ahead of him. It's not going to be a smooth sailing or an easy ride as it may have been in the previous two races against two very flawed candidates. This is certainly going to probably be his most challenging race up to this point. But I think Governor Abbott has done a good job of building up a very solid and strong network of supporters at the grassroots and at the donor level across Texas. He has a huge campaign war chest, and he has incredibly high name recognition across the state. And so those are huge obstacles for any potential challenger to overcome, and they're a source of strength for the Abbott campaign.
So you're saying Allen West and all them are kind of saying he's not conservative enough? That's not gonna win him the nomination?
Look, in Texas, every single Republican is the most conservative Republican in the race. Every single Republican is the most committed to faith, family, and freedom when they're running in some race. It is the nature of conservative politics in Texas and the Republican Party that every single candidate starts off the bat by labeling themselves as conservatives and capitalists and committed to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It's natural also for challengers to an incumbent to say, well, he's not conservative enough, or he hasn't been as conservative as he could be, or he hasn't done all the things he promised he would. That's understandable as well. It is on each of those challengers to not only make those arguments, but actually back them up and prove them and convince the voters.
You're listening to the People's News on Community Radio KPFT, Houston.
And they're going to certainly have those opportunities to do that as the campaign continues to ramp up. I mean, we're approaching March 1st. We're less than 2 months away from primary day. And all of these campaigns have a lot of work to do to really get their supporters activated, get their names out there as much as they possibly can, raise their profiles, and really try to make an argument with the people of Texas that they have a legitimate claim to that office, and we're certainly going to see them make those claims and try to make those arguments.
All right, and this last question, what's your concerns about the Biden administration?
Well, look, the American people are deeply concerned with the failures of the Biden administration. There was the most recent Quinnipiac poll, which came out just yesterday, is not only stark, but it is deeply alarming for the Biden campaign. I would say that anyone in Team Biden in the White House looking at these numbers should really do some soul searching. I mean, and Quinnipiac is not exactly considered to be a conservative leaning poll outfit. Quinnipiac University is well known and highly regarded as a polling source, but historically they've been recognized as a poll that tends to skew Democrat. It tends to lean left. And even with their own numbers, they found that 33% approval rating for Biden. That's historically low for any president at this point in their tenure. He only registers 24% support among independents. He only registers 28% among Hispanics. Those are catastrophically low for someone who came in promising to unite the country, promising to chart a new course for America. And 54% of the respondents say that the economy is worsening, and they're right. You know, all of these responses to this poll are absolutely 100% right. Support for Biden is cratering. His messaging is not working, and it's because he's coming from a standpoint of his ideas are based on a radical leftist agenda. Nancy Pelosi, AOC, Chuck Schumer are all pushing this radical agenda that is not what the American people wanted, but Joe Biden is beholden to them because they're the way he can get his legislation through Congress and into law, and so he's relying on them to carry that burden for him because he cannot do it himself. And he realizes that, so he's as trapped as the rest of America is, but he put himself in there willingly. The simple fact is that the American people wanted a change in the last election. They weren't sure which direction they wanted to go, but they were maybe hopeful that they could give Joe Biden a chance, and he has spectacularly failed, and these numbers reflect that. So I don't see a whole lot of hope for the Biden administration. I think 2022 is going to be a huge year for the Republican Party and for Republicans across America as they ride a red tidal wave back into control of Congress, back into control of state legislatures across America, and to more governorships as well. And I think it's going to be a sea change. I think the American people are rejecting the leftist agenda.
That was Vlad Daviduik, public policy and government political analyst. You're listening to the People's News on Community Radio KPFT, Houston.